Welcome to Thruxton. It's time for that time of the year where we all have some fun watching some proper racing on a proper circuit. Thruxton then, it's Friday, it's time for a pit walk. We'll start off with Dow Racing Kawasaki, Danny Buchan. He'll have been bouncing off the wall with his best buddy Jake Dixon winning the British Grand Prix just a few days ago. He was there to enjoy that. Struggled today, remember, top 12, advanced through to the second qualifying session, essentially. And there were some surprising results here. The top 16 riders, as we go past Franco Bourne, were covered by 9/10 of a second. In fact, Franco just in that picture. Billy McConnell there, big smiling away from him. The Aussie going well. He loves it around Thruxton. You know he's going to give it his all. He's had a really good day here. He's up inside that crucial top 12. As we now cross over to Storm Stacey, he was hovering in and out of that top 12 for most of the session. Something else just to bring into the picture here for this weekend as well is that they're allowed different tyres here for qualifying and for the sprint race. The Pirelli SC0 is here, but you have to use it tactically. There's only so many you're allowed allocated over the weekend, and so some have used them up in the free practice 1 session this morning, others this afternoon. It's really unusual to see what he's done to the lap times. Rory Skinner is back. That's really good news, of course. He did his tib and his fib back at Snetterton. It's remarkable he's here. He passed the fitness test. He's been to see the physio. He's gone out. I spoke to his dad, Mike, earlier. Basically, this is just about getting him back up to speed, but it's great to see him back in the paddock. Equally, Fraser Rogers is also back as well, the Tag Racing Honda rider. Davey Todd, of course, just out at the moment in this session that you can hear. Contrasting day for the FHO Racing BMW team. Josh Brooks seems to have been struggling outside the top 20 for the most part of that FP2 session. However, a really good day for Peter Hickman, and boy oh boy does he need it. It's not been the year that Hickey wanted. Of course, a winner here at BSB at Thruxton. He loves this circuit. What a surprise. Fast corners, Hickey's back up there. He's up inside the top 5 today, so really good stuff from him. Now, one team I want to focus on here, the Completely Motorbikes Kawasaki team, the FS3 team. Jason O'Halloran, this is his circuit. He's been the king of Thruxton, really, for the last few years. He's won 8 of the last 9 races, but of course, they were all on Yamaha. The good news for him is that Kawasaki's are notoriously strong here as well. In fact, the Japanese manufacturers in general, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Honda, all have a brilliant recent record here. The Osho will be looking to get back to winning ways. And on the other side of the garage, Max Cook, if you remember from last year, this was his strongest performance, just missing out on the podium in 4th in a couple of races. He'll want to go one better. Home race for Max Cook, in fact, home race for a couple of riders that we'll be seeing across the grid. Here in the Master Mac Hawk Racing Garage, again, well worth a mention. Charlie Nesbitt home race on the podium in all 3 races last year. Jackson, of course, he switched over to Honda this year, was on the podium a couple of times last year as well. He loves it round here, so expect to see the Master Mac Hawk Racing guys going strong and fighting for podiums. Thruxton is all about getting that right setting to get the lap time and then try and save that tyre at the end, rather than trying to chase it early on. And it's really fascinating to see how close the field is. Leon Haslam, well, this will be no surprise to you, come what may, he's up there. He's stuck in a lap time in that FP2 session. BMWs of late have struggled a bit around Thruxton, but he is a previous race winner around this circuit. He knows how to spin a lap or two around Thruxton. This is the Super Sport Honda side of the garage. Dean Harrison in Super Sport action here this weekend with Jack Kennedy. But if we move along, you'll then see here, this is your champion, the reigning champion, Tommy Bridewell, and championship leader. Now, Tommy, despite this being very much his home circuit, I'll whisper it quietly, he's got an appalling record here at Thruxton. I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning that. He would dearly love to be on the top step here, but it'll be fascinating to see how he gets on. Remember last year on a Ducati, they had a horror show. This year, he's on a Honda, and I'm sure he's hoping for something, although he was waving a few arms in the air just at the end of that FP2 session. At one stage, he was down in about 15th, but he left it late in that session to get a time inside the top 3. Andy Irwin has been on the podium here at Thruxton before on a Honda, so expect to see him go well. Very busy pit lane, very cramped and tiny pit lane really here at Thruxton. This is the Oxford Products Garage, Christian Iddon. Now remember, Ducatis, are you free, Christian? Yeah, let's get Christian over. Ducatis had some troubles here last year, but Christian Iddon looked in great form. Of course, no Steve Wilfmore here this weekend. We send our best wishes to Steve after his trip to hospital. He's even got his team gear on from hospital, keeping an eye on you, Christian, to see how you're getting on. So how are you getting on? That looked pretty good.
Yeah, obviously everyone knows it's difficult for us around this circuit. It's a very specific track which has its own peculiarities, and they don't tend to suit our bike. So we're reasonably good on one lap. I've done a race run more or less on both sets of tyres, so yeah, it gets a bit harder as that run goes on, but we're certainly seeming in better shape than we were last year, and actually last year we were quite competitive, just didn't get away with the front group, so I'm more content than I thought I was going to be when I woke up this morning.
Two more questions for you. What is it like to be here without Steve? Such an influential character, of course, a man for the detail. He looks over everything. It must feel unusual.
Yeah, really unusual. Obviously, we're really missing him and wish him all the best. Yeah, it's difficult to be here without the boss because it's an abnormal team structure we have because the owner is the boss, is the crew chief, is the electronics guy, is the guy that pays the bills. It's like, so you miss that guy, so you're missing quite a lot of pieces of the puzzle. But yeah, we've got a few extra staff here this weekend to help out, and everyone's found their place really, really well, and everyone's working well together. It's difficult this weekend, especially because we've got the different tyres to get thrown in the mix, so there's a lot more things to think about actually than a normal race weekend. But so far, everyone's performed and stepped up as I didn't expect anything else, but they have done.
Lastly, my big question is about Ducati, and we did see last year there were quite big struggles for Ducati. In fact, the year before that as well, but you've had results here before on a Ducati. History proves that Ducati have been a race-winning team here as well. What is it about the Ducati in, let's say, the last 12 months that's made it a struggle here?
No, so, yeah, my opinion is the big issue is it's got one-sided swing arm, single-sided swing arm. So inherently it has to be extremely stiff. So we always struggle on any track to pick up grip where you have to accelerate out the corner and maintain lean angle, which is every single corner at Thruxton. So at other tracks we have those types of corners, but it's masked by where we're very good in other parts of the track. So the overall lap time that we have is always really good, except for where we have a track where every single corner is our weakest point. So it's just the nature of this circuit and how we can never get the bike into the centre of the tyre.
Well, it's going to be an uphill struggle, but we keep our fingers crossed for you, Christian. Go well.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Christian Iddon, he's having a great season, by the way, in the championship. Garage is just slightly closed on one half of the OMG Griller Yamaha team. This is the side of the garage, of course, celebrating at Brands after cleaning up. Ryan Vickers was phenomenal back at Brands Hatch, untouchable. He's turned up here. He was fast this morning, but then he did the time on that SC0, and then this afternoon he's gone out there on the harder SC1 and has dropped out of contention. So interesting. Kyle Ride up in the top 3, but we'll see how that one goes. The fastest man in that session was local rider Danny Kent. He's got a smile on his face as well. Here comes Danny on the McCann's Yamaha, run by the Martrain team. Danny, I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to bring up Brands Hatch. Let's just focus on your home circuit here at Thruxton. You love this place, you've always notoriously gone well here. It is time just to hit the reset button after what happened last time. Happy?
Yeah, really happy. It's no secret that Yamaha's worked really well around this track. Also, I'm working with the team and I got the data from last year from Jason, which won all 3 races. So obviously having that data is helping me a lot. What's a little bit more difficult this weekend, we get 2 different sets of tyres this weekend, so it's trying to work out, we're trying to work out when's best to use what tyre and see if we can get the longevity out of them. But I've just set my best lap time ever around here by 0.4, so yeah, no, I'm happy, feeling good.
Danny, we've seen all year, you've had the speed to win, you've known you've had the speed to win. Have you been putting a bit too much pressure on yourself to try and get that win so far this year?
Yeah, I think maybe subconsciously, it's always in the back of my head. It don't help when people are always coming up with me and saying...
Sorry.
No, people coming up to me all the time and saying, you've got the pace, just get a good start, you go from the lead and you'll be able to win it. But, I'm sure it will come. Maybe I have a bit of pressure on myself, but like you said, after the weekend we had at Brands, we just set the reset button and come here with a clear head.
Finally, is there any way, you've got the speed already, but Thruxton is a proper barroom brawl. I mean, can you even have tactics here?
You can a little bit, but it just comes down to the tyres. You can go out there, and if you burn your tyres up in the first 5 laps, you then ruin your race. So it's down to the cleverest rider, really, and doing your homework in FP1, FP2.
Good luck.
Thank you.
as Danny Kent then, maybe this weekend, could be the weekend, his home race here this weekend. The last garage we go to is Glen Irwin. We just heard from Christian Iddon about how difficult it is for Ducatis. Both Glen Irwin and Tommy Bridewell last year on the PBM Ducatis had a weekend to forget, and it's not started too well for Glen Irwin. Unfortunately, outside the top 12, so he'll have to do work immediately in Q1. Let's get out of the way here. There's a few people getting themselves ready. All that's left for me to do is tell you how you can watch here this weekend at Thruxton. The sun is shining. You don't want to miss this. The last 2 years, Thruxton has just provided the most spectacular racing. This is what motorcycle racing is all about, and we expect nothing different here this weekend. Really easy to remember here this weekend as well. Saturday and Sunday, live, 1 till 6 on Quest or on Discovery Plus. Simples. Have a great weekend. We certainly will.